Saddle up, 'cause we're about to do a whole lot of cowboy shit.
Thanks for tuning in with me with another episode of Reacher. I believe this is episode 5. The title is The Burial. This episode actually answers a lot of questions that we were asking in the last episode. So let's get right into it. First, this episode opens up with a Reacher is at O'Donnell's place, and he's with his family. And what I like about this scene is you have Reacher and O'Donnell having I think is an important conversation, which kind of how shows you how Reacher is thinking. Where Reacher he sees O'Donnell, how he's interacting with his family, and he tells O'Donnell that I didn't think you would be this way. I thought you would be pretty much I'm a loser by this time. And to me, that him saying that is kind of shows that how he, if you think about it, how he thinks of Swan. Like he probably thinks Swan was probably one of his perfect students that he used to mentor, and the possibility of him not being there hurts him a lot. So this is kind of make you think, and he was wrong about what happened with O'Donnell, so it's a possibility he might be wrong about what happened to Swan as well, but we'll find out. Okay, so after this, they kind of the next scene they kind of go into. You have Dixon and Neagley at New Age in Denver. Are they trying to investigate, trying to see the products that they have there or the weapons that they might have had there? And it turns out that they was too late because they talked to the manager. He said that you just missed the shipment. They just somebody just came and got like 650 items from them. They were like, oh, okay. So it kind of changes to another scene where you got AMM talking to these guys that's working with him, some these bad guys that's working with him, and he's trying to confirm that they have the truck or not, and they said they have it, and he just tells them to pretty much get everything ready to switch the trailers because they're planning on taking these weapons to New York. So after that, they kind of switch to Reacher and O'Donnell have made it to the FBI headquarters, and they're talking to these agents who happen to be friends with Reacher's brother. So they're talking about, the agents are pretty much talking about how they're the different aliases of A&M and how they've been trying to get this guy for a while, and they plan on getting him this time. They plan not failing this time. So, and what I like about this scene is Reacher, after they kind of say, okay, we're not gonna fail this time, we gonna get him, and then Reacher was saying like, now we get him first, pretty much. And now we kill him first. And what's crazy about that is he said, if we kill him first, and they just looked at him like, okay, he just like his brother. And so they just kind of just left it to the side, like they didn't really take him seriously. So I thought that was really interesting how they took that. They didn't really kind of say, you don't do that, or they didn't, which is interesting. That's crazy. Okay, so then we kind of go into the bad guys. They're switching the trailers. Then you have Neagley and Dixon pretty much. They're coming down the street and they see this trailer stuck, and these bunch of guys are standing in the street. So Neagley, she's automatically, she put it together that there might be a setup. So they kind of stop right there. They're staring at him, and then Dixon like said, "Are you sure?" And then she said, "Then the guys just start shooting at them." So they just back up real quick and trying to avoid getting shot. And then one of the guys just took the trailer and started driving it and got away, while the other guys just started shooting back at Neagley and Dixon. And of course they take these guys out real quick. And then Dixon told Neagley to go look in the car to see if they had any if she could find anything. So Neagley goes and she found like some papers, and she was like, whoa, like some really important information on there. And it kind of switched to a scene to where you have Reacher and Dixon walking through this woods, and they called them. Neagley called them, and she telling them about what all that happened, and they're pretty much like asking her everything okay. She said, yeah, VJ got some good news, some bad news, and some even worse news. So they end up telling them, and they end up telling Reacher that Swan might be in on this. He may have something to do with what's going on. And it said his name is all over that paperwork they found in the car. And you can just see the face of Reacher. He's just looking really bad. He's looking like very disappointed, and still kind of, even though they're telling him all this stuff, he still in his head don't want to put it together. He still wants to believe that Swan is like, they're making him do this, and he's not doing this of his free will. But all the evidence is pointing the other way. But this kind of leads to Reacher wanting to take a walk by himself. So that hit him real hard. So then we go there. He takes a walk, and we switch to like this flashback for a time where the team was doing an undercover drug case, and where we have Reacher and Swan are the ones that's going to go talk to the guys that they're trying to get the money from and set up. So you have that is going on, and then you got the other team that's outside in the van just waiting for the sign. And you got Reacher, and they're talking to this guy trying to make a deal. And soon, and we had this other guy kind of show up out of nowhere, and he recognizes Swan. Now, Swan trying to keep telling him that, no, you don't know me. You got me mixed up with somebody else. No, dude kept talking and saying that, no, I do know you. And then he kept talking about how he ordered a guitar from him off of some website or whatever. And Swan was just like, no, you don't know me. You got me mixed up. He said, yeah, I do know you. Anyway, they ended up, he ended up remembering him for after all of that he had on this military police uniform. And all hell broke loose after that. Then there was a good shootout, and Swan ended up saving Reacher's life by jumping in front of a bullet for him. So, I mean, I can see now why Reacher is really, he's really trying to go to bat for Swan, because he feel like he owe him one. Like, he even says it right there on the scene. So I'm sure that's probably why they showed the flashback, so you can see why Reacher is so adamant about Swan not being involved. He really don't want to believe it. After all that type of stuff in the past, where he's showed that he can be dependable, and he'll put his life in front of anybody else. So that kind of I would be disappointed too if I was Reacher. I'd be pissed, and he is pissed. So then you kind of go back to present day where Reacher is walking. Then you got this government vehicles kind of trying to get at him, and they stop him. They pretty much asked him, can you come with us? Because he wasn't going with them if they asked him, try to be rude and asking him just to get in the car. He's like, no, I'm not getting in. But they pretty much told him, please, can you please come? So he gets in the car, and they take him to this abandoned zoo. And you got the congressman come, and then you got Boyd, that was from the last episode, comes in. That's his boss, the congressman. And pretty much the whole point of this interaction between him and the congressman is the congressman wants Reacher, since Boyd spilled all the beans in the last episode about Little Wing, he wants Reacher to keep quiet about Little Wing. So he says if you keep quiet, pretty much we'll give you anonymity. That he knows that he's getting into a lot of bad stuff, and he won't be to blame if stuff go awry. If they end up having to kill some folks, that they'll take all that negative, all the law breaking is what I'm trying to say. The law breaking that he has to do to get to where he need to go. They won't pin nothing on him or the team. So Reacher, he didn't really say he would do it, but I think he will. So, and then after that, we kind of go to Reacher gets a phone call from O'Donnell saying that the funeral funeral is coming up. I think it's gonna be tomorrow. So they need to head to New York. So like he really didn't say no. He just like he hung up the phone. Like, so you got the next. After that, they kind of ended up at the funeral. So while at this funeral, the team is they're talking and trying to see where these weapons could be at, and then they figured out that they may be coming to New York. So after that, they kind of see the detective talking to Friends' son. He's giving him a toy. The toy that's pretty much the toy back in I think episode 2 or 3 where he was telling them don't mess with them toys back there. So he was giving him the toy, kind of reassuring his son that everything will be okay, and he reassured Friends' wife that if you need me for anything, you can come just call anytime. So Reacher, of course, he's not hearing this conversation. He kind of approaches the detective and he kind of goes off on him, thinking that the detective is just trying to get in good with the wife, just to, I guess, try to so he can get stuff out of her. So, which is not true, of course. Then the guy, detective, he kind of explains what's going on, and he kind of threatens Reacher, and Reacher, of course, doesn't back down from the threat at all. And so they eventually kind of start seeing eye to eye, because Reacher, he started telling him about his, detective started telling him about his dad and how he feels about that he's lost people before, just like he lost his dad, just like this kid just lost his dad. And Reacher said, and he asked Reacher if he's lost anybody before. He said yes, like pretty much the people is his family that he's losing right now. So they kind of come to terms, and the funeral kind of commence. And during the 21 gun salute, he's got some assassins that try to take out the team. This guy just starts shooting. So everything kind of goes to hell. And then, of course, the team starts shooting back. The detectives start kind of covering, like, the Fringe's wife and his kid, getting them out the way. So you got the team, Reachers and the team started going after these assassins. So they kind of get bombarded, like they was behind these cemetery blocks, trying to say we can't get any closer. So Reacher tries to sacrifice himself. Of course, Neagley didn't want to do that, and he said he trusts her and you can take the shot. So she does, and she ended up getting this guy, hitting him right in the head. So the other guy, he was like, hell no, I'm gonna get out of here. He just takes off running, and of course Reacher runs after him, and with the funniest run, Reacher has the funniest run I ever seen. That's from so he runs after him, he ends up making to the car and takes off, but Reacher couldn't get him in time. Then you got a detective that comes out of nowhere, and then Reacher was able to get in the car with him, and they all arguing back and forth because the detective is not driving how Reacher want him to drive. He won't cut the curves or nothing. So the detective finally says, "Oh, do you want me to drive?" Reacher said, "Yes." And he steps on the gas, and pretty much they end up catching the dude, making him crash. And they catch him, and then they have him pent up against the car. So you got Reacher, the guys, and the detective wants to take him in. But Reacher is like, no, if we take him in, he's gonna get a lawyer up and he's not gonna say anything. So it's best if you just look the other way. And he does. And the guy gets more scared, and he ends up telling them what's going on, and of course brings out another name that Reacher don't want to hear again. Swan is one sent them there because he thought it was Langston. So And Reach was like, okay, so we gonna have you go to this meeting point saying that you to go get the money, just saying that everything was done. So it kind of brings you to the last and final scene where they're at the warehouse where the assassin was supposed to meet back up with Swan and to get the money for doing the job. So they get him to go in, but I think Swan is smarter than they think. Well, they probably know that Swan is smart, but they didn't think he was gonna do this. But the guy goes in the warehouse and he blows up. The whole warehouse blows up. Well, I'm thinking Swan probably thought that the whole team was gonna go in there with him, and he just got all of them, blew them all up. But only the one guy just went in there, and Richie had him recording everything. So it didn't work out for him that way. So that's pretty much where we end off at the episode. And this was pretty much, I think this episode was pretty good. What I liked about this episode is that we finally, for sure, know that Swan has something to do with this. We still got to get a little bit further, more information in what capacity he's doing, how he's involved, but we know that he is involved somehow. I'm gonna give this episode 4 out of 5. I gave it a 4 because it wasn't as much action as it usually have. This is more just finding out information, which is why I gave it a 4 that high, because I like that we finally end up finding out what's going on with Swan. So, we know more than we did last time about Swan. So, well, y'all can put down in the comments what y'all thought. How surprised are you that Swan does have something to do with it? Did you think that he had something to do from a couple episodes ago, like I did? What do y'all think? And what y'all think about this episode?